Hello, I'm Dan Vasson, Oregon Charter Academy High School Assistant Principal and the advisor of our school's NASA Club. We are very excited to be able to host an in-flight education downlink event. So big thank you to NASA for selecting us to participate. Let's get started.
Hi, my name is Lucas. My question is, have any of the crew from the International Space Station seen other planets during a spacewalk or from a window? If so, was it with the naked eye or some kind of telescope on board?
We've seen Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn from the International Space Station. And don't forget, we've seen planet Earth as well. And we use our telephoto lenses, and with the lenses we've been able to see the ice caps on Mars, rings around Saturn, and belts on Jupiter.
Hi, my name is Saoirse. What is the purpose of the material test board located outside the International Space Station?
The outside of space station in the orbital environment, it is really harsh and it makes things degrade rather quickly. Ultraviolet light from the sun, for example, and then radiation and micrometeorites. And then the upper reaches of our atmosphere, there's atomic oxygen, which also eats up organic material. So we have these test boards where we put things like gasket material, O-rings, pieces of fabric, pieces of polymer, things like that, where we want to see how they behave long term when they're exposed to the orbital environment.
Hello, my name is Nova, and my question for you is, what are some of the differences between living on Earth and living on the International Space Station, and how do you prepare for them?
Well, the big thing about living on space station is you are weightless. You're still under the influence of gravity, but you are weightless. And it's hard to prepare for that on Earth because we're always weighty down on Earth, and that's a big thing that training can't do. You can train to learn how to use the equipment on station, but you can't really train to figure out how to manipulate yourself and things in a weightless environment.
Hi, my name is Missy Love, and my question is, why is there no gravity in space?
Actually, there is gravity. The gravity here on space station is about 12 to 13% less than on the surface of Earth. However, our orbital motion cancels the local effect of gravity, so you appear to be without gravity even though you really are well within gravity, and that's why we like to refer to it as being weightless, not actually zero gravity. That's a bit of a misnomer.
Hi, my name is Luca, and my question is, as a 9-year-old who dreams of a future with NASA, what advice would you give to me and others like me in our path to studying space and the sciences?
What you need to do if you want to do my job is study all the cool stuff in school and at university. And I'm talking about math, science, engineering. Study all those things, get really, really good, and when you pop out of the other end from university, then think about applying to NASA and becoming an astronaut, and you can arm wrestle me for my job.
Hi, my name is Sienna, and my question is, with all the things you have seen and done, what is one thing you still want to see or do in space that you haven't yet?
Oh, I've got some observations I want to make outside on the sun with a special solar filter. In fact, you can see it right here, this little red thing. So I'm still trying to figure out how to make these really cool observations of the sun.
Hello, my name is Athena. If there is no air in space, how do you get air in the International Space Station?
We make our own air on the International Space Station. As you pointed out, there's no air in space per se, but inside a space station, you launch it with air in station. In fact, just the air alone on the International Space Station weighs 1 metric ton. Think about that, a ton of air just to fill space station. And then we replenish it with oxygen from our electrolysis machine.
Hi, my name is Raven, and what is one of your most memorable moments out in space?
The most memorable moments I have from being in space on the International Space Station are working with your crew. It is incredible to be up here with your crewmates working on the mission work, and there might be something that I don't do very well. Well, one of my crewmates can do it well, and we work together and we get the job done. So those are the most memorable moments, being with my crew in space.
Hi, my name is Aiden and I am in 10th grade. I was wondering if you can explain what a typical docking sequence between an incoming ship and the International Space Station looks like.
Okay, that's a really good question. I could talk about that for maybe half hour, 45 minutes. Maybe I'll do the abridged version. First, you get close to space station, and that's called proximity operations. And then as you get closer and closer, you slow down to the point where you can get a tally-ho on the docking mechanism. There's a docking target. You check all the alignments, and then you do one little pulse, and boom, you're docked to space station.
Hi, I am Kellen and I am in 9th grade. I was wondering, when you're on a spacewalk, how does it feel to float above the Earth, and is it vastly different from NASA's training pool?
Well, when you're doing a spacewalk, the view is different because you have this thin visor that allows you to view Earth and the cosmos in a way that you can't see when you're looking out a window like this. So the views are spectacular. We train in the pool, a big swimming pool, and that offloads. We can make ourselves neutrally buoyant, and it offloads your weight on Earth so that you can train and pretend like you're floating around. But one of the big differences in the pool, you have water drag. So and in a real spacewalk, you don't have drag at all, and you really feel the mass, F equals ma, Newton's first law of motion. You really feel that when you're on orbit.
Hi, my name is Grace. You recently took a picture containing the Milky Way, the rising sun, and other features visible from orbit. How is it like viewing these exquisite sights in real time from the International Space Station?
Viewing the sights that are presented out the window, and that could be Earth, it could be the atmosphere, it could be the cosmos, the Milky Way, planets, and then things like comets. I've been lucky enough to see 2 comets just on this one mission. You can see eclipses, and actually there's a lunar eclipse coming up. These things are wonderful. They're awe-inspiring, and a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I just don't have enough words to explain the feelings behind my pictures. Just look at the pictures and think about 1,000 words that might fill in what it's like to actually see that.
Hi, my name is Philip, and I'd like to know, what do you believe is the future of Earth orbiting space stations? I
think the future is bright on all accounts, particularly exploring space. And there's plenty of volume up here. There's plenty of purpose for different kinds of space stations. The International Space Station is optimized for science, scientific research, all kinds of scientific research, from furnaces to physical sciences and biological sciences. I can see numerous smaller space stations, maybe one optimized for biological science, one optimized for furnace, crystal growth experiments, one optimized for just training, maybe one for building larger structures that can be put together in a single launch. There's all kinds of reasons to have space stations, each with a special purpose, and I see the future as bright.
Hello, my name is Valley. My question for you guys today is, what technological changes or impacts have you experienced as your time as an astronaut?
I think one of the biggest changes that I've seen in the years I've been flying has to do with our computer equipment. Before we had really, really slow laptop computers, and it would take seemingly minutes just to display one picture. And now we can watch HD video feeds on our laptop. So, and not quite 2K yet, but that will be coming. So it's the computer equipment that facilitates your job, and it increases the efficiency of getting work done on station.
Hi, my name is Miles. My question is, in what ways has the space program changed since you have been a United States astronaut?
Oh, the space program, one, the astronaut office has gotten a lot smaller. When I arrived, we had 150 astronauts, and we were flying up to 50 astronauts a year. And now the astronaut office is much smaller, and the launch rate is, with the number of crew members, is a lot less. So that's one of the big changes that I've seen in the astronaut office. That said, the training flow that you go through for a mission has markedly improved. It's a lot more efficient than it used to be, and you show up on orbit and you feel like you're just going home.
Hi, my name is Edwin, and I was wondering, how did it feel traveling to the International Space Station?
Well, you're excited to go up to the International Space Station, and you launch on a rocket vehicle, and by the time you get here, I'm typically feeling a little bit on the green side. So it takes a day before I really get my zero-G float down, and so the feeling, the first feeling of showing up here may not be the most pleasant thing.
Hi, my name is Owen, and my question is, would algae work as an effective way of producing oxygen in the International Space Station, and was that an idea for oxygen on board before they came up with the ECLSS system?
I'm a big proponent of algae, and Chlorella and spirulina are two of the leading candidates for not only food production, but also for oxygen production. I think this is a really good idea and a way to go for producing both food and oxygen in a space environment.
Hi, my name is Colston, and my question is, how do weather observations from space affect natural disaster situations?
We're more for natural disaster situations worldwide. We feed in observational data through our imagery, and when a natural disaster happens, it could be a volcano, a flooding, a typhoon, a hurricane. We are posed to take pictures of the region both before and after. And this imagery can be used by specialists on the ground to help determine what the best way for providing to these stricken areas.
Hi, my name is Nicholas, and I have a question for you. How has new technology changed your career?
Well, new technology, for example, the video camera and the KU band linkage and this wireless microphone I'm using, this is all new technology compared to when I first came to space station in 2002. And it's just an example of how this technology has changed the way we can communicate to Earth. The photography, when I first came here, it was all film-based photography. Now it's all digital photography. So these are some of the changes that have helped advance spaceflight and telling the story of spaceflight to those who don't have a chance to fly in space.
Hi, my name is Elwood, and my question is, if the sun moves to a new location, will the planets follow?
I don't have an answer for that because I haven't observed plants long enough to see what happens to them in terms of following the sun. The plants we do grow here are grown in plant growth chambers, and they've got fixed lighting optimized for the wavelength of chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, and so the plants don't need to wiggle around like they do on Earth.
Hello, my name is Colin. For those of us who have dreamed of being in space, how would you describe what an actual spacewalk is like?
Oh, how do you describe an actual spacewalk? It's an amazing experience. It's a whole lot of work, both in preparing for the spacewalk, mental work, and then physical taxing to your body. And you're in that spacesuit for maybe 12 hours. And, what do you do if you got to pee? And what do you do if you need to eat and get hungry? Plus, you are working a routine that's as complicated that you've possibly practiced as much as an Olympic athlete working on, say, a gymnastics routine. So spacewalks, they're amazing. Everybody wants to do one, but they're a heap of work, and they're also risky. You have to be prepared for the whole package if you want to do a spacewalk.
Oregon Charter Academy is a statewide virtual public charter school that serves thousands of students in grades K through 12. Today, our students have greatly benefited from learning about Don Pettit's experiences as a veteran NASA astronaut as he answered our questions live from the International Space Station.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.